365 Plumbing, we're bringing fair pricing back. Family owned and operated. We treat your home like it's our own. For your everyday plumbing needs, we're here 365 days a year, rain or shine, day or night. Extend the life of your water heater right now. Take advantage of our $89 water heater special. Visit us at 365plumbingnv.com. Bringing fair pricing back to the valley, one home at a time. 365 Plumbing. The world's largest Formula One attraction is now open at the action with F1X, a cutting-edge 4D experience where you design your own custom F1 car in a fully immersive tech-powered space. Then hit the track with F1 Drive, the only karting experience that lets you race on an F1 circuit. It's Formula One like you've never seen or felt before. Nevada residents save up to 25%. Get your tickets now at GrandPrixPlaza.com.
Up in about a minute.
Really sucks.
Good. How we doing, everybody? How are we doing, everybody? How are we doing? Yeah, we're on the radio today. Let's effing go. Top 5 Raider training camp priorities before the start of camp. Top 5 priorities. Okay? What are the 5 priorities that mean the most? Ashton Genty. Let's go Gino. Culture. The young secondary. That's where I'm going. Put it in the chat.
Radio 920 AM, KRLB, Las Vegas.
You're listening to the JT the Brick Show, where the Raider Nation has come to sound off and react for over 20 years.
It's the JT the Brick Show, broadcasting live from the Finley Cadillac Performance Studio.
Raiders bring a blitz. He takes it off the middle, and he's wrapped up from behind. Max Crosby.
Your silver and black home to sound off for over 25 years.
Open at the 35, racing to the 20, 10, touchdown Raiders.
And now, here's JT the Brick.
Out of the gate as we kick off the week. The week. Not super week. It's not Super Bowl week. It's not playoff week, but it's the start of training camp on a 95-degree day in Las Vegas. If you're ready for camp, you better be ready to sweat. You better be ready to head out to deep Henderson, and you better be ready to go to work. We're ready to work as your proud affiliate of the Silver and Black Raider Nation Radio. Hope everybody is doing well. It is still summertime radio. Breaking news. I'm in summertime mode, man. I just got back from Duck Creek, Utah for 3 days, man. Up in the mountains, 60 degrees. Oh, the windows open at night. Paradise. Oh, I was on the Razors, the ATVs, hanging out in unbelievable weather up in Utah. To our friends in Utah, beautiful to be up there. I've been there a couple of times, but just to get away from the heat. Had a great time with some friends and fires at night. Just unbelievable food, barbecuing, kind of not off the phone completely, but kind of off the phone for me, which is a big deal. And cigars and cervezas, Modelo. I had several Tito's, and I even mixed in Bobby the brown water. You know, you got to mix in the brown water when you're up in the mountains with cigars and stuff. So a little whiskey was poured at the end of the night. So it was beautiful, man. Oh, I'm nailing it this summer, man. I'm proud. I was just gone for 12 days back east. I was up in Utah. I'm trying to get out of Vegas in July, and now I'm back. And maybe we got Eric Allen in Canton. Not this weekend, but next weekend we'll be in Canton, Ohio. That could be pretty hot and humid at times. I've been there where it's been super hot and humid. Other times where it's been great. An afternoon shower probably will come into play there, and then we get you ready for the preseason. For the football games, where I'll be on the radio play-by-play for the 3 preseason games. So I'm doing my homework because I got to learn the names of several players who will not make the team or will make the practice squad, and they're going to be showcased in the preseason, and I love that. I love that fact that these guys are competing to try to get on the roster, which is what Pete Carroll is all about. Also today, as we continue our summer series on the most influential Raider draft picks of all time, today is Greg Townsen. We go to Greg Townsen, who we're really excited about today. No messing around with Greg Townsen. If you watch Greg Townsen play in LA, if you watched him play football, I need you to put together a story on Greg Townsen, something that you like about him. Often people come up to me out of respect and say, why is Howie Long in the Hall of Fame and not Greg Townsen? You know, Greg Townsen is the all-time sack leader in Raider history. And you want to talk about value? He was taken in the 4th round, 110th pick. So we're going to jump into him and do that. So I'll be doing that every day, some days 2-a-days throughout the long training camp process where we'll count down to our top 10. Now, is Greg Townsen in my top 10? He's close. I'm trying to get some good guys in. They're all great, but I'm trying to get some modern day guys in, the old guys like Marv Hubbard, Pete Banaszak, right? We're getting some of the newer guys. Zach Miller's coming up. You know, so Bobby's doing some prep on this because he's trying to grab some sound. We have an interview that I did with Greg Townsen, so we'll play a portion of that in the second hour of the show, and that's part of what we're doing here. Yeah, as Big D says, on the YouTube stream, which I'm looking dapper and streamed. I got a nice college shirt on today. I think it's my son's. My son left it at the house, so I wore it today. And Big D says that Townsen had 25 more sacks than Howie Long and doesn't get the Hall of Fame mention. Really? Okay, that's something we can maybe talk about. That'll be a topic if you want to dive in. 702-365-9200. We're still in the dead zone, but we're kind of coming out of the dead zone. That's a term I came up with 20 years ago. I came up with that. Some people said I came up with Raider Nation. No, I didn't come up with Raider Nation. I came up with Niner Empire because the Raiders had a nation and the Niners had an empire. We tried to get those fans going at it. But I will tell you, this time of year, we're coming out of the dead zone. Scotty Scheffler won the Open Championship. Used to be called the British Open. Now you get thrown in jail if you don't say the Open Championship. And he might be the greatest golfer since Tiger Woods. As a matter of fact, he might be tracking down Tiger Woods. He is unbelievable. For what I watched there, I figured, the Open Championship playing in Northern Ireland, there, that he's never played it. I think he played one practice round. How could he be any good playing a golf course that his eyes never seen and he blew everybody away? And he doesn't even play that style of golf, links golf. They beat everybody. He beat Rory on Rory's home course. And Shane Lowry, he beat him there convincingly. Wow, this guy might win. I don't know. I could look ahead. I think that Scotty Scheffler's got 4 majors. You could start talking about 12, 14. You can start talking about Tiger Woods now. I think he'll be better than Phil Mickelson when it's all said and done. Phil's been a hell of a golfer. I think he's going to surpass Rory. Rory has the career Grand Slam, and that would be if Scheffler could win the U.S. Open, he'd have the career Grand Slam. It's just fun to watch. I mean, fun to watch what Scheffler's doing. I call him the modern-day Tom Watson, the way he plays golf and wins these big tournaments. So I enjoyed that over the weekend. NBA Summer League came to a conclusion. Watched some of that game last night between the Hornets and Sacramento as Charlotte won. Congratulations to our friends who did an unbelievable job. And for those who are saying Vegas is in trouble or Vegas is dead, you're nuts. This past weekend, and I was out of town for the weekend, you had Lady Gaga 3 nights at T-Mobile. Manny Pacquiao had people standing up in the rafters, even though that was a money grab. Manny Pacquiao in the draw of his fight was there. The Backstreet Boys at Sphere. All the concerts that were in town, which were incredible. So for those who are saying it's the demise of Las Vegas, I push back and say, no, not my show and the proud partners we have. Vegas is open for business. It's just a little hot this time of year. So that's what we got going here. Greg Townsen, I got an interview coming up here later on in the show. But I wanted to lead the show off, which I thought would be a pretty good topic, because this is the era in sports radio of lists. It's the era of list. I haven't participated much in it. And I don't do a lot of low-hanging fruit radio. That's why I come up with this draft conversation. I could come in here every day and do a top 10 list, but everybody else is doing it. I find it lazy. I find it just the words to describe it. I don't even have enough of them. But I'm gonna break it. And from time, I'm into Mount Rushmore. I do a lot of Mount Rushmore stuff because I actually am one of the few radio hosts that are aware that Mount Rushmore only has 4 presidents, not 5. Even though this current president wants to be on there twice, and there's other presidents that maybe should be on there. There's 4, but today I wanted to come up with the top 5 Raiders priorities for the preseason and camp. Okay, so let's all say this together. and my son's going to clip this up, and we're going to run through this thing because I think it's pretty important that I get a feel from you and you can participate. And the best way to participate at all is getting on our YouTube channel because we have a live chat there and you can get in there and make new internet friends. Top 5 Raider priorities for training camp. Okay, top 5. You can go in any order you want. Here's my list of 5. Now, there's 10 or 15, but this is just what I think is going to happen for the Raiders and what they need to accomplish going forward. And at the end of this, we can sort it 5 through 1 or 1 through 5, but I'm coming up with 5 that I think are really important for the Raiders. I'm going into my 28th year with the team. I've been to all these training camps. I've been to great ones. I've been to good ones. I've been to bad ones and average ones. This one's got to be great. Everybody get that? This has got to be great. They need to thread the needle, the organization on this training camp. They stayed at home. All for that. I live in Vegas. I love Costa Mesa. The practices weren't very good. I love Napa. Hopefully we get back there someday. I love Tahoe, wink, wink. I love all places to travel and get out of Vegas, but they chose to keep it here. And I think that's going to have a lot to do with the culture. So I'm going to start off with the culture of the team. Normally, every preseason, the culture is good. A new coach gets hired. They put in their own schemes. They hire their guys. They have a lot of rah-rah stuff, and the culture is pretty good. It is very rare to find any team in sports, spring training and baseball, when you open up camp for hockey, whatever sport it is, it's very difficult to say the culture isn't good. We're not on the same page. Everybody's fine when the culture starts a preseason. This one's different. This is a more experienced head coach in Pete Carroll. He has a different plan, which worked brilliantly in Seattle, where he instituted all of his competition days and everybody bought in. And the Seahawks were really good, if not great, years under Pete Carroll. That will be the system installed in Las Vegas, Nevada for the 2025 training camp. It is the vision of Pete Carroll to come on in with the help of John Spytek, Tom Brady, obviously Mark Davis, who owns the team, and all the coaches to come in and make this different. So I think it's going to be very important in my top 5 priorities that this culture is evident to everybody. I don't know what it is. Neither do you. We don't know. We're going to see glimpses of it at practice. We're going to see glimpses of it in the preseason game. We're going to hear from our insiders and others nationally about what Pete Carroll is doing different. So I think the culture of this team is going to be really important. And when I use the word culture, I think what that has to do, that'll fall into the category of health. How do you keep the players healthy? Come on, everybody. It's a crapshoot. We talked about it with Christian Wilkins. Lay off the guy. He's injured. There was a video of him on Instagram when he's singing and dancing and he's bouncing around the locker rooms. He looks good. He looks okay. He's trying to get through an injury. How do you keep the players healthy under Pete Carroll's new regime and scheduling of practices and all of that? I think they're all going to be conscious of that. Anybody who gets hurt, it's a fluke. They twisted their ankle. God forbid they blow out their knee. God forbid they pull, a hammy or a groin. It's a fluke. You cannot predict that. They're going to do everything right with the training department, the doctors, to make sure these players are hydrated. They practice at the right time. They get days off. They're inside when they need to be. So that's part of the culture of what I wanted to put out there as one of my top 5 priorities for the Raiders. It's going to be very important that the Raiders make it clear to everyone that they are going to be ready to go with this new culture. Number 2, very important, the running scheme of Ashton Genty. Wow, I just said a lot. I could have done a whole 2 hours on this today without a breath. What is going to be the scheme for Ashton Genty to run free and be the offensive rookie of the year? They're going to have a scheme in place. It's not hand the ball up the middle. We did that for too long around here. We just ran the ball into the pile. I hated it. I had to interview the coaches. I had to talk about this. They just run it into the pile. Run it into the pile. No more. We're done. What is the scheme for Ashton Genty to run the football? Are the guards going to be polling? Is it going to be a zone blocking technique? Is it man on man? What is going to work for Ashton Genty? Raheem Mostert, whoever makes the team, Zeus, Sincere McCormick, as we said. What is the scheme? Are we going to leave Michael Mayer into block? Are we going to have Brock Bowers block more? I don't know. The scheme must be installed, and it must be an unbelievably Chip Kelly running scheme with the pass. Obviously, Chip's going to want to throw it a bunch, but I sense that the Raiders under Pete Carroll are going to be a franchise that's going to run the football. But you just can't hand the ball off to this kid from Boise and expect him to find the hole. It does not work with this offensive line. This offensive line is not good enough yet. They got a couple of players, Colton Miller and Jackson Powers Johnson, who have Pro Bowl abilities. Everybody else has got to prove that they can make the team and play. There's some experienced players and some young players. What will be the scheme? How are they going to run Ashton outside? Are they going to run him in between the tackles? You see what I'm getting at? That has to be defined in camp and in preseason, not in the games, because we're not going to give away much in the games if Ashton plays at all. If Ashton doesn't play it down or he just gets 3 touches in the preseason, I'm all for that. I don't need to wear this kid out because we're probably going to be wearing him out hard because he's a hell of a player. So I have that there, the running scheme and what they're going to be able to do there. I'd like your opinion on that because I think that's going to be really important. Okay, let's move on to the next of my top 5 Raider training camp priorities. The development of the young receivers. Oh boy, this is a big one. On offense, we have Jacoby Myers at wide receiver, who's a heck of a player. Who else do we have? Well, we got a bunch of good rookies, I can tell you that, led by Jack Besh, who can play at a very high level. Trey Tucker is a good outside receiver who can make plays downfield. We know he can do that. And then we see some of the other younger players who are coming in, and we're wondering how they're going to fit in. That is going to be very important to me. Dante Thornton and Jack Besh. They have to play well. Look, if you want to grow this thing for 2 years until we make the playoffs, leave my show. Just get the hell out of here. I'm looking to go now. Pete Carroll wants to win now. Besh has got to be good now. And Thornton's got to develop into a player. By week 7 or 8, you turn on SportsCenter and they're saying, who's this Raider guy? Dante Thornton from Tennessee. He's got 6 touchdowns, and we're heading into week 7. The development of those young receivers, because I think Brock Bowers is a hybrid. I don't even think he's a tight end. I think he's more of a receiver. So how do you get these young receivers up to speed? Because all of the other insiders around the NFL are saying that the Raiders don't have a number 1. They're disrespecting Jacoby Myers, who had over 1,000 yards and didn't have a drop. They don't think he's a number 1. They think he's a really good number 2. Even on some of the number 2 list, Jacoby Myers isn't ranked in the top 3. So one of these young guys better be good, and that's all on Chip Kelly and the receiving staff and everybody getting these receivers up here. I think that is critical. We know what we got in Jacoby. We know what we got in Brock. What do we got with Michael Mayer? We never throw him the ball around here. I mean, why do we have Michael Mayer here? We don't even give him the ball. Well, that's going to change under Chip Kelly. We're going to get him the ball, right? And then you're going to have these young wide receivers. I think that Jack Besh has the talent to be Hunter Renfrow on steroids. Hunter Renfrow had a 100-plus catch season here. That's almost impossible to do for a slot receiver. He did it. Well, Jack Besh is going to be in the slot or outside, but I think, in the slot over the middle of the field. So at number 3, I have the development of the young wide receivers. They have to be good. This can't be class in week 10. We can't be developing these guys. Of course, we're going to develop them. Jerry Rice struggled coming into the league. Cliff Branch, a Hall of Famer, had the drops year 1. Cliff. Yeah. It takes time for young receivers to get going. But with Chip Kelly, that's going to be really important. All right. The fourth one for my top 5 Raider priorities could be number 1. Maybe should be number 1. Development of the secondary. The secondary on paper is not very good compared to the rest of the league. You would agree. But Pete Carroll and John Spytek have a plan with the players that they have drafted, the size, and the free agents that they brought in who are taller, bigger, and stronger, and they might be able to fit in nicely in this scenario. How are they going to play? What is going to be the growth of Darian Porter, who I've interviewed a few times now, and looks like, doesn't play like yet, but he looks like a young Richard Sherman. They drafted him to be Richard Sherman-esque. A stay-on-the-field cornerback who's long and tall with receiver skills, who has an eye for the ball. I like it. He's never played a game. Never played a game. So what are we going to see from him? Then you look at the other cornerbacks, Eric Stokes, who comes in. Jacorian Bennett is a good player. He's nowhere near being a Pro Bowler. We need Pro Bowlers. We need Pro Bowlers. I tweeted out a picture the other day of Lester Hayes and Mike Haynes together. We need to get fortunate, and I'm not saying Lester Hayes or Mike Haynes, but we got to develop some Pro Bowlers as I'm on the way to Canton, where Eric Allen's getting in the Hall of Fame. This young secondary will be tested daily at practice, preseason. Who's going to start? Who's going to make the team? I'm looking at the depth chart overall here, and I'm saying, okay, there's some good players here, but it's not deep. DeCamerion Richardson, I'm not sold on him. Holmes at nickel is okay. Jacorian Bennett's okay. Isaiah Palomal has little to no experience other than last year. He's good. He's not a Pro Bowler yet. Jeremy Chin, I think the world to him. I think he's a really good player here, and we'll see what happens. But you get where I'm going here. I'm a big fan of signing another corner. I'm a fan. There's some money left in the till. There's some money left at the bar. The bartenders haven't cashed yet. We can go get a corner who starts. There will be multiple corners, multiple that will get cut and be available for the Raiders at the end of training camp. Multiple. There'll be veterans. You got to decide when you hear what they want to do, if they're going to go or they're happy with the development and what they have at the corner position. I'm talking more corner than safety, but that is a priority. I think these guys are going to get a lot of work. They're going to get a lot of work because, you know, who's going to give them the work? Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly is going to be scheming this offense out in Henderson and running all this elaborate stuff, and the young corners are going to grow up pretty quickly here. But there could be a case where Darian Porter and Jacorian Bennett are starting, right? Bennett more so, and that's going to be interesting because other teams are going to scout the Raiders and say, Raiders are pretty good everywhere. They're about a year away with their roster, but we can attack their secondary. I have that at number 4. And then at number 5 of my top 5 Raiders training camp priorities is Geno Smith. It's all about Geno. Come on. Last year I went through this in Costa Mesa. We couldn't run a play. We couldn't run a play. We didn't know who the quarterback was. We had no leadership in deciding on who the quarterback was going to be. It was let him practice. The practices pretty much are being broken up by Max Crosby, who's destroying practice every day. We don't have any of our offensive line ready to go. We don't have a good offensive line to begin with. And nothing was accomplished. And we all sat there the week before camp ended and said, who's our quarterback? I went with Gardner Minshew. I would have did it again just on experience. Did he outplay Aiden O'Connell? Yeah, he did, kind of. Antonio Pierce made that point. But, you know, it wasn't like Aiden was outstanding in Costa Mesa. I was there. He was not. And it wasn't like Gardner was any good. Now we got Geno. Geno's very good. And Aiden's much better. Aiden's a starting quarterback in this league at times. So now we have a 1-2 of Geno Smith and Aiden O'Connell. We're good at quarterback. Keep him healthy. Keep him healthy. And Geno has just got to keep playing the way he played in Seattle. If Geno plays at the way he played at Seattle, 70% completion ratio, 4,000 yards, we're good. We're good. I think he's going to play better. I think he's got better weapons than Brock Bowers and Ashton Genty. I really do think, and I think he's got the best play caller he's ever had in Chip Kelly. That we have to see if that works. But Geno can change this whole thing quickly. Geno can come from behind and win games for the Raiders, and Geno could play ahead with the lead and end games for the Raiders that they couldn't end in the past. So those are my top 5 Raider priorities. Not a bad list, Bobby, huh? Came up with that with coffee today. I was reconnecting with my dog as I'm back in town. Top 5 Raiders training camp priorities. I'd put that up with anyone else in the Raiderverse. That's what I think. And I could have took it out to 10, but I thought I'd keep it here at about 5 and see if you agree or disagree. Remember, everybody, this is a talk show. I just talked for 23 minutes. I don't get a raise for that, Bobby. If they gave me a co-host, I wouldn't get a raise either. I just bring in more partners. But I'd be able to breathe. So when we come back, Greg Townsen, I'll frame Greg Townsen. If you have a Greg Townsen call, I'd like to hear that. And where was I right or wrong in my top 5 priorities for the Raiders? We're brought to you by Golden Entertainment. They own the Strat, Arizona Charlie's, over 70 taverns here, including PTs. They fuel the monologue, 5 to 7, midnight to 2. Man, this is the time of year, man. Cool off, get into a PT's, get your favorite cocktail or Modelo, and sit back and watch sports and get ready for the Raiders. JT, Monday, kicking off training camp this week on the flagship. Oh, that was good. All right. All right. If I get 3 people that want me to get rid of the Charger fan, ASAP Hood, because I know he's the same guy that just changes his name every day, let me know, because I have the baby block button open and ready to go. Yeah, I think that monologue motivated a lot of people, man.
It's a long family heritage that we proudly carry on.
From our father to our family to the expert legal team at DeCastroverde, we founded this firm for you. We're the DeCastroverde brothers,
And we have your back.
Brotherswin.com. If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet.
Anybody else have a good weekend getting to the mountains?
Unlimited phone lines plus 5G.
Get to the beach? Did anybody get to the beach or the mountains?
Plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet,
Block. Cisco says block. See, Cisco, I can do timeout. I can put him in timeout, but if you'd like me to block, I can block as always. Thank you, Caesar. Great monologue as always.
T-Mobile, it's better over here. Based on analysis by Hulu Speed Intelligence.
I got notes. I got Raider depth charts, notes. Greg Townsen is our guy today. Greg Townsen.
We're going to play that fumble recovery touchdown coming back.
Yeah.
That's the sound of someone who's misplaced
My debit card.
their debit card.
Leave that thing.
Not at the gas pump, or the checkout counter, or the roof of your car. Now, if he has the Chase mobile app, he can use Card Lock.
Wait, I could just lock my card.
Yep, just a few tippy taps on his phone, and that sound, that's peace of mind from Chase.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
Big news, Las Vegas. Les Olson IT has moved to a bigger, better facility to serve you like never before. Our new space means more technology, more service, and more solutions, all designed with you in mind. Plus, we're hiring. If you're
Townsend still has the record for Raider rookie sacks.
join our team today. Proudly serving Las Vegas for 23 years and counting. Les Olson IT, your business better. Les Olson IT. Get ready for bacon, barbecue, and bold flavor. Say howdy to the Port of Subs Smoky Western. Stacked with smoked ham, tender turkey, smoky cheddar, bacon, and tangy barbecue sauce. Sweet, savory, sassy, but not for long. Order now at portofsubs.com, on the app, or ride on in today. The Smoky Western, only for a limited time.
Sierra Air Conditioning and Plumbing has proven that we can solve problems quickly, completely, and affordably.
Yeah, that Scotty Scheffler performance at the British was pretty damn good.
Which saves you
Pretty damn good.
You can live your life comfortably and without worry. And the way we do it is with the Savings and Maintenance Membership, or SAM plan for short. For $16 a month, you get 4 yearly visits, a 15-point cooling system tune-up, a 15-point heating system tune-up, a 65-point plumbing inspection and water heater flush, 1 diagnostic or emergency service trip for plumbing repair, 15% off repair.
I watched the Billy Joel documentary. Holy crap, was that good. Part 1 on HBO Max. He grew up one town over for me. I grew up in Massapequa, Farmingdale. He grew up in Hicksville. He was the backdrop sound of my youth. And I had no idea about his early years, his contracts. He ended up marrying his best friend's wife. That was trippy.
The Brick Show, brought to you by PT's, the best happy hour in town, 5 to 7 p.m. and midnight to 2 a.m.
There was a loss of 2. Shotgun. And down goes Woodley. Gave up the football. It was Rod Martin on the blitz. The play still moving. Goodbye. And Greg Townsen, a rookie from TCU, picks up the fumble. Down the field he goes, but credit that. Certainly an assist to Rod Martin. Fought through a block, got to Woodley, knocked the ball loose. 64-yard touchdown for the Raiders.
This is one tough football team. And we've told you all night about Rob Martin.
Probably their best linebacker. He's been voted the captain by the team. He's been voted MVP of the defense 2 of the last 4 years. He stripped the ball. Mr. Townsen, who deserves this touchdown. Look at him run. This is the defensive lineman you're looking at. Watch Rod Martin behind him. If you can see him, he made one great block for him, even though it was unnecessary. It was behind the runner.
We also told you about Townsen and Pickell. 2 rookies making it big.
A startling development. The Raiders already on top, 13-0. 64-yard fumble return. Great effort by Rod Martin and Greg Townsen.
How about that? Way to go, Bobby. Greg Townsend, rookie, 60-plus yard fumble, scoop, and score. How amazing is that? You know who was on the call? Frank Gifford, play-by-play, Howard Cosell, and O.J. Simpson. That was the broadcast team. I mean, think of that. That's how before we go back with Greg Townsend. Welcome back, everybody. I just gave you my 5 priorities for the Raiders as they get set to open up camp. And today is Greg Townsend Day as we look at the most influential Raider draft picks of all time. I've been on the radio since Friday, so you should want to get into the show and be first. I'm looking for a leadoff hitter every day, a cleanup hitter, a number 9 hitter. People need to match my preseason energy because it's at a high alarming rate as I kick off this week. 702-365-9200. Greg Townsend, born November 3rd, 1961, one of the great defensive ends in Raider history. He played college football at Long Beach City before transferring to TCU, and he was drafted by the Los Angeles Raiders. I repeat, the LA Raiders in the 1983 draft, the 110th pick overall, the 4th round he was selected in. I mean, you got to be kidding me with this guy's career. And he had a great rookie season. He excelled early. That touchdown that you heard was a big one on Monday Night Football. The next game against the Broncos, he recorded a safety and his first 2 sacks as a player. We're talking about a guy who came into this league and turned heads. And if you look at his entire season and what he was able to do, he recorded 8 further sacks in the season, and which included sacking the New York Giants 3 times in a game on November 27th as a rookie. In the Raiders' postseason run that year, he excelled, recorded a sack in each of the 3 postseason victories, which included Super Bowl 18. For his rookie season, Greg Townsend had 10.5 sacks, a team record that still stands today. He finished 6th in voting for the Defensive Rookie of the Year. And Howie Long argued that Townsend's sack total, if put in a 4-man line situation playing full-time, you're talking about a 25-sack-a-year guy. That's how great he was. Greg Townsend was the ultimate Raider, I thought. All the games that he played, he excelled at a high level. And I think he's a misunderstood player. I think people forget him because of the strength of Howie Long and some of the great players, Hall of Famers who played in that era, including Mike Haynes, Lester Hayes, who's waiting for the Hall of Fame. Some of the great linebackers, you just heard Rod Martin and Matt Millen and the teammates that he played with all the time. His NFL career statistics are pretty strong, 363 total tackles, 109.5 sacks, 2 safeties. He forced 15 fumbles. He recovered 8. He had 3 interceptions in his career. I mean, the guy was unbelievable, 4 defensive touchdowns. So Greg Townsen is one of the players that we are featuring in our most influential players drafted in Raider history. If anybody saw him play and you can remember him, participate in what we're doing here and let us know the impact that he had. 702-365-9200. I've gotten to know Greg pretty good over the years. He comes back for a lot of events, and we got a really good partnership and relationship when I see him. I've hosted Chalk Talks with him over at Allegiant Stadium and over alumni weekends, and he's just a very good man. He's still a presence. He's in monster shape. He's big and strong. I think he personifies the LA Raiders. Came back in 97 to Oakland. He played for the Eagles for a year in 1994. But when you think of the LA Raiders, who do you think of? Many people think of Bo Jackson. They think of Marcus Allen. Obviously, Howie Long, Mike Haynes, some of the other players who played and excelled in the LA years. And I think of Greg. And I had a book signing for my book, The Handoff, a long time ago up in Oakland. And I was there, and I was doing it at the Raider Image. And during the day, Greg was outside, and he was signing autographs. And I was inside. They gave me the inside to have a book signing. And I was there, and there was a big crowd, big line. I would assume most were there for Greg Townsen, but we had a nice group who were coming in for me, and I gave him my book. He said, "Can I have your book?" I said, "Yeah." I gave him a copy of my book, and he gave me an autograph that I still have today. That means a lot to me. It was a personal moment that we've had. And whenever you see Greg and he comes back, he's always optimistic. As Bobby was looking at some of the sound of him throughout his career, he's always been optimistic that the greatness of the Raiders is in his future. And I wanted you to hear from him on his Super Bowl 18 legacy here, because he won a Super Bowl, and he won it early as a rookie. And think of all the other times he could have won more games and bigger games going forward, but he is a world champion, Greg Townsen.
Well, like you said, I was a youngster coming in there, and my experience, I had to do my experience through the older guys who had been Super Bowl 15. And so seeing how they were experiencing it, that's the way I was sort of taught to experience it per se. You know, you don't go in these things with no preconceived ideas or notions. You know, they just, it's one of those things when just only 2 teams are going to be playing this weekend. And so everything is coming at you, from the media to shoe companies to television shows. I mean, just everything is coming at you all at once, and you just tend to just soak it up and see how the older guys are treating the situation and trying to would you say navigate yourself through it, because there is a game at the end of this week. And we got it, and we only here to win. So, you know, I experienced it through them, and I had a great experience. And I think one of the best things about that is the older guys pulling the younger guys under the wings, like me and Pakel and Caldwell and Dokie Williams. And there's a lot of young guys on that team that year. And we were just fortunate to have veterans the way we did.
Yeah, that's really nicely said. So how would you like to be on a team where Greg Townsen comes in as a rookie and gets 10.5 sacks, you win the Super Bowl, and you got veterans, right? You got veterans on that team. So it was good. If he would have been drafted a year later, you know, maybe he never wins a Super Bowl. So I really if you look at the all-time great Raiders, and what we try to do this summer is we're trying to put a value on them. And Greg's another guy that I could easily have put in the top 10. Why did I not put him in the top 10? I don't have an answer to that, because I also have Hall of Famers, and I have other players that he played with who were drafted in the 12th round. But Greg Townsen was a Super Bowl champion. He was a 2-time Pro Bowler, and I don't think he got enough accolades, and that's why I'm featuring him today. I think from moving from Long Beach City, college to TCU and then to be a legend at TCU as a kid who grew up in LA is pretty incredible. And this is a guy who played at about 265. If you've ever seen Greg Townsen in the videos of him, he didn't look like he was 265. He looked like he was 295, and he can run, and he had a 33-inch waist. I mean, the guy's a monster. And if you look at the greatness of Al Davis and his drafting throughout Mr. Davis's life here, running the Raiders and being the owner, he was incredible with picks like this. I mean, you got to really understand personnel to find a fourth-round TCU edge rusher who could play inside, but basically a defensive end. And Mr. Davis was aware of him at Long Beach City College. Think of that. Mr. Davis was aware of this young man before he transferred at TCU, and Mr. Davis is the maverick of the league running an NFL franchise, and he had his eyes on this guy before he transferred to TCU. I mean, just an incredible pick overall. He was an all-rookie team member, too, which is a big accomplishment when you come into this league and you're able to play at that level. So that's what we're doing today. It's Greg Townsen. If you want to get in and talk about his impact, his relationship, the combination with Howie Long, how he played in big games and what he was able to do. And again, he was a feared player. If you put a list together of the most feared Raiders of all time, offense and mostly defense, he could be the captain of the team, of the most feared players to ever play the game, because he just had that look. That look was intense when he showed up on game day. And I love that. I think more football players, need to look that way. They have to have that energy when they come out on the field. They have to be the type of player that when they show up, it's going to be a long, long day. And I think he personifies that type of player. So that's what we're doing here. I've been shut out today, Bobby, 40 minutes into the show. So I'm just gonna go out in the deep water and come back and swim again and do it again. Greg Townsen Day today, brought to you by our great friends, Alex and Orlando de Castaverde. I want to say this. Did a little bit of driving. To get to Duck Creek was 3.5 hours. So we take the 15 all the way through St. George and Cedar City, and then you climb a mountain. You climb a mountain, which is pretty intense. I mean, there's bigger mountains around this country, but you look to your left, one of those mountains when you're driving and there's nothing. You know what I mean? When you go, oh boy, better make sure I stay on this side of the line. Yeah. And then we drove back on Sunday, and on the 15, it was NASCAR. My wife's like, look at you driving. It was NASCAR. Cars coming by. You know the speed limit out there in Utah is 80 miles an hour? Oh, yeah. I've never noticed that. Yeah. I looked up. My wife said, get out of the left lane unless you're going to do the speed limit. Because I was going about 75. He said, no, it's 80. Yeah. I said, wow. And just people cutting in. So there was some accidents out there. There was a car that was on fire. There was a car turned over. Look, I hope you never need them. But if you ever get into an accident and are injured, it's not your fault. Make sure you get safe to the side of the road. And then the Castaverde Law Group, the brothers win. The brothers have your back. Brotherswin.com. More on Greg Townsen and my top 5 priorities for the Raiders here at training camp coming up here. Scotty Scheffler. Dodgers can't win a game. Anybody checking on Harry Ruiz? Anybody checking on Harry? The Dodgers are 0-6 against the Brewers. Wow. Anybody checking on Harry? Is he aware of that? The Dodgers, a little bit of a struggle here. Yeah, I'm always cranky Yankee. We're flying on. We're heading out to camp later this week. 40 minutes and no calls. That's really humbling on a show like this today. So I brought my A game. The callers brought shit. That's good to know. Good to know.
We're going to play that safety.
I'm going to be almost 60 years old, and I'm worried about who fucking calls a radio show. Nice, huh? Dodgers and Giants both losing. Yes.
Don't miss Unnecessary Roughness weekdays at 2 on Raider Nation Radio, 920 AM.
Boyd Gaming is the official and exclusive local casino partner of the Las Vegas Raiders at Allegiant Stadium. Bring your friends, have some fun, but always bet on black. Visit their 10 casinos across the valley. Don't let the game get out of hand. Please bet responsibly.
Man, I can't believe this mess I'm in. I don't know what to do.
You need a great attorney. Yeah, but nothing. You can't do this alone. You need the Vegas lawyers.
Hi, this is Paul Pata. Whether you need representation for DUI, domestic violence charges, record sealing, or any other criminal defense issue, you're going to want the Vegas lawyers on your side.
You know, a lot of people are asking me if Lincoln Kennedy's out with the Raiders. Lincoln is not out with the Raiders at all. Lincoln will be on our TV show. He's going to be part of the pregame. He's going to be doing some postgame with me. They went with Kirk Morrison, former Raider, as the analyst in the booth. That's my comment. I'm a big fan of both. And I've worked with Lincoln my entire career. Everybody here knows how much I love Lincoln Kennedy. So, you know, I think Lincoln will do a lot of great things. He's got a big path in front of him, and he's a big part of the Raiders. I can promise you that.
Hurry into your Honda dealer during the summer event.
See dealer for financing details. Exclude Civic SI and Type R.
Hey, Chuck, do I need a checking or bank account to get a loan?
Is a guest 1 or 130, Bobby? Okay.
Get cash in hand from one of our over 60 locations. You don't even need a bank account.
Yeah, it was nice. My wife loves the Cubs, and I hate Boston. So whenever the Red Sox lose, 2 or 3 to the Cubs. But the Red Sox are actually playing better than the Yankees, I think, overall in the last month.
Now, if you do have a checking account, you can do everything online at don'tbebroke.com and never have to walk in to talk to anybody face to face. Whatever works for you. Thanks, Chuck.
Yeah, what about that kiss cam with the Coldplay thing? That was crazy. Jeez.
Smarter than that.
Enjoy 1 week free interest, and you can get up to $5,000 in minutes.
It's time to fill the bus for communities and schools.
Yeah, the kid from the Cosby Show died, Malcolm Jamal Warner.
You can help on July 24th.
Yeah.
Stop by Sam's Club at 215 in Rainbow or Envy Energy on Sahara. Check out CISNevada.org for more info. Fill the Bus School Supply Drive, sponsored by America First Credit Union, Richard Harris Law Firm, and Lotus Broadcasting.
Hey, babe, where are you going?
Fantastic indoor swap meet.
The swap meet.
You know how to pronounce this guy's name, Bobby?
Sure, if you bring your wallet.
What are we shopping for?
Everything. They've got everything.
Okay.
And it's a lot more fun than shopping online.
Okay, let's spend the afternoon. It's just over on Decatur and Okie.
You know, Fantastic's open every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 10 to 6. And like they say, it's fantastic.
And like they say, we've got it.
Hello, I'm Jesse Fonseca with Park Place Realty. I have been your local broker since 1990. Yes, that's 35 years. So
Tigers are a good team, no doubt.
I'd love to be your choice. Call or text for more information, 702-736-3000. I'm also a mortgage banker, so if no one will lend you, I'll lend you. I have a lot of money. Credit restoration, notary, and much more.
Greg Townsen, safety.
Evaluation, 736-3000.
Yeah, I put that guy in timeout, that Charger guy in timeout. I guess the Chargers don't have a show. They have a couple hundred people on at once, so that he comes over to the Raiders, show. What do you have with Townsend? What do we have left? We have his legacy. We didn't play that. We played.
Brought to you by the Become a member of football's most notorious fans.
They're a good football team that hadn't played well, but you know is very good.
Look out, safety. Hit for the safety. Greg Townsen leading the charge.
He looks like he's just having so much fun out there. I wonder if he comes from TCU, which is not renowned for its football team, okay? And I'm sure he had his share of losses over the years. But since joining the Raiders, he has added a new dimension to their defensive line. He gets around so fast. Paul Howard trying to help out the tackle. Couldn't get there in time. Townsen racks up 2.
Another Greg Townsen highlight as we're looking back at the most influential Raider draft picks of all time. Today is Greg Townsen, part of our summer series, as we welcome in our great partner, M Resort Spa and Casino. A lot of players staying there. A lot of players know it there. It's the official hotel of the Raiders. If you're coming into town from L.A., you're coming from that region, you drive right by it. You see the new tower going up. We do a lot over at M, and they have a lot of concerts going on at the pool, and a great way to cool off is that M pool, man. Fabulous pool as we keep it going. We're talking about the Raiders' all-time sack leader, in Greg Townsen, 4th-round pick in 1983, who immediately paid dividends for a team that won the Super Bowl, set rookie records with 10.5 sacks, even though he didn't start a game. Max had 10. Max Crosby had 10 as a rookie in 2019, and Greg Townsen at 10.5. That is still the rookie sack record for the Raiders and the all-time sack record. So I think Max will get the all-time sack record. I really do. I think Max, with this new contract extension, as long as he's going to play, will do that. But you got to stay healthy. You got to play at a very high level. You got to be available. Max is. And I think Max will be able to do that and join Greg Townsen at that elite group, along with Howie Long and some of the greatest edge rushers to ever play the game. I'll dive into Scotty Scheffler's legacy, winning the Open Championship, which is pretty special there. A lot of baseball over the weekend. The All-Star break came to an end. It is back. And NBA Summer League was very successful again for everybody over there at the Thomas and Mack. Congratulations on that. Thank God my radio show just doesn't air in Vegas. I'd be dead. Dave in Chicago is there for me. Dave, thanks for calling. What's happening?
JT, first of all, I want to thank you for being so gracious to me and my family when we came out to Las Vegas for the Chiefs game. And it was a thrill to meet you personally and also the Hall of Famer, Eric Allen. Just fantastic. So I was at the game in December. I had to look it up. December 5th, 1988, where Greg Townsen had, I believe it was, an 86-yard interception return for a touchdown. And the Raiders beat the Broncos 21-20. And I also, on that day, had the pleasure of meeting Fred Biletnikoff in person. I still have the program from that day where it was Fred Biletnikoff's we're going to go to Indy. So I hope I can. I don't know if you're going to make it to Indianapolis. I'd love to. To 4 here in Chicago.
Wow.
My wife can attest to that. When we saw you in Las Vegas, she was shaking her head like, "Yep, he's crazy." But I thank you for everything you do.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it, Dave. It means a lot to me calling from Chicago. And we got to get more people in Vegas to sound like that from Chicago. More fans on this AM radio station that is ready to go. So appreciate Dave in Chicago. It's an honor to be on nationally on the Raiders mobile app. So on days like today, I don't get shut out in hour number 1. I get a call from Chicago, which I am a glasses half full guy, Bobby. I'm glasses half empty on radio. I'm glasses half full in life. If you would have saw me on the Razors and the ATVs out in beautiful Duck Creek going crazy. Had an unbelievable weekend there. I'm excited because this is a good day to talk Raiders. I'm trying to pace ourselves because camp opens here. Practice is on Wednesday. So as my wife asked me for the schedule, because she knows she has to kind of guide my days and my son's. Practice number 1, 8:30 a.m. on Wednesday. The vets report tomorrow. Physicals, conditioning test, they all get in. And then the practice number 1 is on Wednesday. There's a practice at 8:30 a.m. on Thursday. There's a practice on Friday at 8:30 a.m. The players are off on Saturday. And then we have practice again on Sunday. Going to grab a coffee as I prepare for this because the first preseason game. Grab a coffee at home and drive out on Sunday. And normally when I play some golf, but not in this heat, and go watch Raiders practice, which we're really excited about. That was a hell of a first hour. Top 5 Raider priorities. My son will cut that up and get it ready for some reels. We are live on YouTube. I'm going to stay there for another monologue. I'd like you to go there. It's important. We're almost at a number we're trying to get at for the algorithm. We need your help to get there. So if you go to YouTube, just go to JT the Brick YT, subscribe for free. It takes 5 seconds. I don't ask for anything. I don't ask for anything. I'm asking you to do me a favor for training camp. And we'll have a couple of announcements on some of the shows that we're going to be doing, not only from training camp, but what I'm doing this year for the Raiders. Every year, the Raiders give me more and more responsibility and more shows. But over the next week and a half, it's also about Eric Allen as we count down to his induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And this he's going to have one hell of a crowd and turnout there. If you're heading to the Hall of Fame for Eric Allen, please let us know. You can do that in our YouTube chat or on X at JT the Brick. And Eric's going to be out there with his wife and kids and sure his granddaughter and everybody who's going to be there to celebrate his incredible life and legacy as a football player. And after that, we'll be able to introduce him as a Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Famer now. He's gained induction. But until I'm there at the Gold Jacket dinner and he puts that gold jacket on, that's the moment where the rest of our life, every time we see him, Hall of Famer Eric Allen. That's going to be pretty cool, man. I've had the esteemed pleasure of working with him, on the pregame show and being a friend in his personal life and trying to figure out how this event's going to look compared to other inductions that I've been to in the past. This one should be pretty special. Hour number 1 in the books. Oh, this week, double dipping, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Sirius XM, Channel 82, 7 to 10 p.m. Pacific time. So we're going to have a couple of big night shows, a couple of interviews that maybe we'll have for here that'll air on those shows. Bobby putting it all together as we count down to training camp here, and we'll get you rolling here. Please follow us on Instagram at JT the Brick LV, and you can get right into the show via Twitter X at JT the Brick. And that's what we're going to do. We're excited about this. 2025 training camp, Henderson, Nevada. After Costa Mesa last year, I'm very optimistic that camp is going to be super important to set the focus for this upcoming year so the Raiders can turn the corner. Hour number 2 on deck. All right, everybody. Nice group here. I'm going to take a bit of a break. Bobby's going to get a dart. I'm going to I'm going to hydrate, which I choose to do, and I'll be back here in a few moments. Okay, I even have this to put up here. This, I got it. No, I'm good.
Gambler's bonus hits
Yeah.
again. On March 1st, Keith hit 4 fives, clearing his Gambler's bonus 4-pound $10,000. Keith hit big, and so can you. With Gambler's bonus, it's why you play the game.
Modelo is an official cerveza of the Las Vegas Raiders and the JT the Brick Show. Modelo Especial is the model Mexican lager. Everyone knows that hard work deserves a fitting reward. A Pilsner-style lager with a crisp, clean taste.
The place for all your Raiders coverage is right here on Raider Nation Radio, 920 AM.
When you are injured, knowing that someone has your back changes everything. Our family has spent over 3 decades fighting and pursuing justice for the injured. It's a long family heritage that we proudly carry on. From our father to our family to the expert legal team at the Castroverde, we founded this firm for you. We're the Castroverde Brothers, and we have your back.
Brotherswin.com.
At Intermountain Health, we believe life is a circle. May yours surround you with insight, a healthy perspective, trust, and reassurance. The belief that our differences aren't that different, and compassion just when you need it most. Life is a circle. May yours help you live the healthiest life possible. Intermountain Health.
Zip Zap Auto has expanded into one of the largest independent auto repair shops in the valley. With 23 bays, over 12,000 square feet, Zip Zap is your one-stop shop, offering 24-hour smog test, oil changes, detailing, bodywork, engine, and transmission rebuilding. And Zip Zap provides free towing and diagnostics with qualifying repairs. No appointment necessary, 24-hour service. Zip Zap Auto at Cheyenne
and North Durango Drive, and online at zipzapauto.com.
Flood season, schmunchies. It's just a little rain, and you're in a car. Drive through the puddle. It's like a free car wash. You've got places to go. Come on, got it.
Yeah, that's not the way to do it. You simply can't tell how deep flood water is in the road, and it only takes 1 foot of rushing water to pick up your car. Drowning in your car is a tragedy you can avoid. Never drive through flood water, because water always wins.
Brought to you by the Regional Flood Control District.
Welcome to Yoga for Beginners, where we say yes to less stress and no to auto loan payments.
Say yes to less stress.
Let me flow for a little bit, and then we'll go. I love when Oberlin loses his shit. Yeah.
I don't know if it's a deal now. No, not network anymore, so it's on YouTube.
Credit Union's 90-day no-pay auto loans. Visit onenevada.org today. Federally insured by NCUA.
Are you looking for the best fit high school for your child? Cristo Rey St. Viator College Preparatory High School is accepting applications for the 2025-2026 school year. We offer high-quality college preparatory courses.
We didn't play that one on his legacy of the Raiders, 61. I'll throw to that. Might get into the Scheffler stuff here.
I got stuff all over it also.
Families only pay between $25 and $250 a month. Visit us on the web to learn more and apply today.
Yeah.
CristoRayStViator.org.
Grimaldi's has 4 locations in the Vegas Valley, or check it out online at Grimaldi'sPizzeria.com.
Don't miss the Rich Eisen Show following the morning tailgate. Weekday mornings at 10 here on Raider Nation Radio 920 AM KRLE Las Vegas.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show. Modelo Especial, the new #1 beer in the U.S.
It's the JT the Brick Show, broadcasting live from the Finley Cadillac Performance Studio.
Raiders bring a blitz. He takes him off the middle, and he's wrapped up from behind. Max Crosby.
Your silver and black home to sound off for over 20 years.
Over to the 35, racing to the 20, 10, touchdown Raiders!
And now, here's JT the Brick.
JT back with you. Chris Paul back to the Clippers. Interesting. Clippers got Bradley Beal too. NBA news: the WNBA wants more money. Oh, that's a guardrail for me. I stay away from that. My dear friend and the person I've worked for close to 30 years, Mark Davis, owns the Aces. I do not get involved with athletes' money. I avoid that. It's a good reason why. Because sometimes you bump into these athletes and you don't want to say, hey, I'm the guy talking that you shouldn't get this much money. But I report on it. WNBA All-Star Game and the NBA Summer League comes to an end. It's been a pretty good offseason. Everyone's waiting to see where Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to either stay in Milwaukee. Damian Lillard got another $40 million to go back to Portland. Must be great to be Damian Lillard. You get paid to leave Milwaukee and you get new money going to Portland, and you can't play because you're hurt. And that guy's figured out the best thing to do in life is be an NBA player. No doubt about that. And today we're talking about Greg Townsen. He is our legacy player today on the top most influential Raider draft picks of all time, a 4th-round pick, 110 overall coming in. That's pretty impressive for Greg Townsen. He was a value pick. He won a Super Bowl, part of a Super Bowl winning team as a rookie. Taken in the 4th round, the 110th pick out of TCU. That's pretty special. 107.5 sacks in 11 seasons with the Raiders. Added 2 sacks with Philly to total 109.5, 30th all time in NFL history since the stat became official. And for being a 4th-round pick and setting the Raiders rookie record with 10.5 sacks, Max Crosby had 10. So if you look at what he was able to do, pretty impressive all time. So if you got a Greg Townsen story, it's been a little quiet today. I thought Greg would pack out the show because Greg, I'm disappointed I went with Greg today. I maybe should have saved him closer to the start of the year when we wrap this up. I thought Greg Townsen would wake some people up. 63 years old. He looks like he's 40. Yeah. Guy's ripped. I think he's going to be a part of our Raider cruise. For those who went on the Raider cruise, it's back up and coming. He'll be a new addition on the Raider fan cruise. Raiders fan cruise. More details coming on that as we continue on. Scotty Scheffler won the Open Championship. I thought it was maybe his most impressive major win because of the fact that he's just never played the course, and he completely dominated the field.
Scotty Scheffler for birdie at 18 to get to 18 under par. The moment awaits. The tap in. Scotty Scheffler is now joined the company of golf's greats. He is the champion of the Open at Royal Portrush 2025.
Yep, that is PGA Tour Radio there on the call. Scheffler talked about the week that he had overall. Remember, he had to get out there and play it. He never played it. So he went out there and played the course and then goes out and wins the championship.
Overall, it's been a great week. The fan support all week was tremendous. It was a ton of fun to get to play here. I got to play with Shane the first couple of days, and you guys coming out and supporting Shane the way you did was really special. And it was a really fun week to be able to play in front of such a great crowd. To my family, starting with my wife and my son, thank you so much for the support. I couldn't do any of this without you, and I just love you very much. And I can't wait to get home and celebrate.
So I've been waiting to get back on the radio to talk about Scotty Scheffler. I love this type of radio, talking about iconic moments and players. Before he teed off to start the tournament, he put his life in perspective. And it's some of the best 4 or 5 minutes that you could ever hear about the fact that when he wins a tournament, it only lasts for a few minutes. And then he goes back to his life, which is being a dad and a husband and his faith. So when he put that audio out there and video out there, it went viral. And a lot of people couldn't believe that he didn't say certain things as an athlete that other athletes say. Some athletes are all about sports, about rings, and about championships. He's not. He cares more about his son and his wife. And he has a little bit of success, and when he does, it's fleeting. It doesn't fulfill him. It doesn't last long. So Scotty, again, talked about the perspective of winning these tournaments, and everything he's saying now is going viral because he's so down to earth.
I've said it for a long time. Golf is not how I identify myself. I don't identify myself by winning tournaments, chasing trophies, being famous or whatever it is. Like when I go home, if I go to there's 2 Chipotles that I eat at home. There's one, well, actually not really one anymore. There's one right where I grew up. It's kind of near SMU's campus. If I was to go to that Chipotle and try to eat nowadays, it would be very difficult for me. There's another one in a different part of town that I'm not going to tell you where it is. But if I go there, nobody recognizes me ever. And so famous is just one of those things. It's like in some circles, like right now I'm the best player in the world. This week I was the best player in the world. I'm sitting here with the trophy. We're going to start all over in Memphis, back to even par. The show goes on. And it's hard to describe what it feels like because, I don't feel any different because I've won a golf tournament. This is not the be all end all for me, but I'm extremely grateful for it. I mean, I have, kid you not, I have worked since I was 2 or 3 years old to have a chance to play professional golf for a living. And now I've been able to win tournaments that I just dreamed of playing in. And it's an amazing feeling. And I'm so grateful to be able to live out my dreams. But, like I said, my faith in my family is what's most important to me. And I try to live as normal a life as possible because I feel like a normal guy. I have the same friends I had growing up. I don't think that I'm anything special just because, some weeks I'm better at shooting a lower score than other guys are.
It's an incredible piece of sound. I mean, it's incredible what he just said about life. And I think we should all have a portion of that in our lives. He's a superstar. Most of us are not superstars. We should be superstars in our life with our family and friends. I think that's what he's trying to say. I believe he's trying to tell everybody that don't judge yourself by where you're at with a victory. And that could be a victory in a deal that you have through work. You close the deal. It could be a victory that you have professionally. Something good happens at work. You get a promotion. We're going through this new era that I've talked about and tried to put into words better than I have. That post-COVID, not a lot of people really care about what you do. Pre-COVID, and for most of my career, everybody cared about what you did. And how would you, for me, coming into my career was, how do I get on a bigger show? How do I get a better time slot? How do I get all that? I'm way done with that. I just love doing radio. You can put me on at night. You can put me on in the morning. I don't care. Whenever I'm on, lives on podcast, and people can find it very quickly with one click of a button. But for Scotty Scheffler, he's at a level that most of us will never achieve financially and success-wise. And you can tell that his faith is pulling him back down to earth. His faith is telling him, do not get involved with some of the hype around who you think you are. Now, for Tiger Woods, for years, we didn't know what Tiger's personal life was like, his gambling, drugs, alcohol, what he was putting into his body, his womanizing. We didn't know that about Tiger Woods. Now, I lived in Vegas the whole time. So I heard rumors about Tiger living here from people that worked at the mansion at the MGM or were around Tiger or just saw the way Tiger behaved. And Tiger was always buttoned up in front of the cameras. He had the biggest accounts in the world, Rolex, American Express, all of his golf, his Nike sponsorships that made him well over a billionaire. But Tiger was living a false life, a fake life. He had two different lives. Scotty Scheffler, his golf is his secondary life. Just seems like he goes out there and practices, takes a break, goes to Chipotle. No one knows who he is. Goes home with his wife and kids and watches a movie and goes at it again the next day. Where some guys who win at this level, it's private jets, it's yachts, it's champagne, infidelity, alcohol, insanity. And Scotty Scheffler, for today's modern athlete, could be the most unique athlete that I've covered in quite some time. In sports radio, we normally talk sports and we get to athletes, and it's the TMZ-ification of sports. That was fairly new when I got into radio. We just looked at box scores and reported the games. Then I got very gossipy. Who's dating who? Who's divorced? Who's doing this? You just saw that thing over the weekend or before over the weekend with the Coldplay concert where the CEO of that big company was cheating on his wife with the woman from Human Resources. Oh, boy. And then it went viral. Every baseball stadium did a kiss cam for fun, and they made fun of it. And I was thinking about this, and I wanted to tie it into Scotty Scheffler. Scotty Scheffler is the complete opposite of that CEO of that company, who was reckless enough to go with his coworker girlfriend to a concert and hug her passionately when he jumped on camera, which was an accident. He wasn't supposed to be on camera. And now what is he doing? He's blaming others for his infidelity. Then you got Scotty Scheffler winning the Open Championship going, this will be good for about 10 minutes. And then after 10 minutes, I'm getting back to my life. That's all I saw over the weekend, Bobby. I tried to kind of decompress with my phone, but I couldn't get enough of the Facebook guy, the CEO that was exposed at a Coldplay concert. Remember, I still have the record: 54 Rush concerts, 0 Coldplay concerts. So I'm good, man. I'm living my best life with that stat. But you look at Facebook time to time, and you're on it. Have you seen anything trend like that as quickly as that did for a non-celebrity, not an actor or someone we're familiar with?
I've seen things from time to time trend like this, but this one was really good. This was just, I mean, everybody and the mother had a take on this thing. Every baseball team did the kiss cam. I think the Aviators did a thing with the kiss cam. Yeah. I mean, everybody got a piece of that. The bottom line here is real simple. If you're going to have a side piece, don't do it in public. If you bring them to a stadium, if you bring them to a concert, if you bring them to a ball game, the odds on you ending up on the Jumbotron are possible.
Or possible.
So don't.
Yeah, you never want to show up, man or female, on the kiss cam without your partner, your real partner.
No.
That would probably be the biggest party foul you could do. Would that be the biggest party foul you could have at a sporting event? Other than getting thrown out for fighting or being too drunk.
Running on the field, any of those jabronis.
Yeah, I would think streaking on the field would be number one. I think getting caught with your side piece on a kiss cam is probably on the Mount Rushmore of screwing
that's
up.
That's got to be 1A, I think.
Yeah, wow. That was a big-time topic.
And of course, the guy had to retire. He had to quit his job.
Yeah, I haven't followed up with everything at the end here of what happened because I think both of them are in big trouble.
Yeah, I think he eventually just resigned like last Thursday or Friday.
Yeah, I think that would probably be the right thing to do. But
hell of a price to pay.
He was very happy there too.
Oh
You know, when you're
until you realized what was going on, and then the face just
if you're having an affair with human resources, you shouldn't be in that position.
I'm gonna let that topic slide altogether.
Yeah, we do.
Get out of that one.
We do. We'll just stay out
Do
of
not
all that.
talk
But that
HR.
was, see, this is what happens when you do summer radio. You start talking about things, you get away from sports. Luckily, I have a clock in my head, and I get right back to it. We have a portion of a conversation that I did with Greg Townsen, who's our featured player of the day. I haven't had many interviews with Greg. I've met him a lot of times. I've done chalk talks with him, but I've only had him for a handful of time on the radio. And we consider him now one of the top most influential Raider draft picks of all time. Thrilled to talk to Greg Townsen again and hear his draft story and how he became a Raider legend. Greg, I hope you're doing well. Good to talk to you again. I hope everything's been great to you so far. Thanks for joining us.
JT, it's always good to hear from you, and it's always good to talk with you as well. So, yeah, the draft day for me, it was a day from heaven. I didn't think I was going to get drafted. Let me be honest with that. I was a 235-pound defensive tackle coming out of a small school called TCU. So I didn't expect to get drafted. I was going to show up and give it the college try, if you will. But I was on draft day. I was washing my car, thinking nothing of the draft again, like I said, and I got an infamous phone call from Dan Collins, and he told me I was selected.